What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the ABJ podcast, Not Cool in High School, where we mix pop culture, humor, and heart. This episode is not suitable for children, even though it's a kids movie, or anyone under the age of 18. It is not safe for work, especially if your boss doesn't like you crying at Pixar movies. You have been warned. Trigger warning, this episode contains references to death, grief, family, loss, and cultural depictions of the afterlife. It's handled respectfully and with care. So before we get into it, we do go off the rails a little bit and talk. We are adults. We have adult conversations. This movie is normally for kids. I'm not saying we actively try to talk about inappropriate things or say curse words, but that's just who we are as people. And once again, if you have your kids that want to listen to this, awesome. I don't do a lot of kids movies. Maybe I'll start in the future and maybe make more kid-friendly content, because now I guess I have
you could say it.
I have two daughters.
There
Is
you
that,
go.
I don't want to take the
Okay, so he has two stepdaughters.
I don't like stepdaughter though.
Okay,
I feel like
he has two daughters ish.
Yeah. Oh, so here's the thing. I'm being respectful to your
I understand
your ex's family, because I don't know how comfortable they are with me claiming ownership, but like I do care about them. They're great. I love them to death. They're great kids.
First of all, let's not use the words ownership, but I
feel like when you say my daughter,
ownership of the word,
yes,
of claiming that you're owning, you're saying owning parenthood,
yes,
right?
Because I'm definitely not.
Which is fair.
They are definitely way more parent than I would ever be.
but I think that I don't even know why we're talking about this on here, but I think that they look at you in a parental
and I
form.
Appreciate that. But I
look at them like they are your kids, even though you didn't bed me to have these children out of wedlock.
I did none of the work.
Yeah.
I didn't change a diaper.
But you love them as if they were your own.
Yeah, I'm not getting up in the morning and taking them to school. I didn't wipe a butt. You know what I mean? There's a lot I didn't do, and I respect the parents who did do that. But they're children in my life through you, and I do care about them and love them. And I'm doing more, I guess you would say, parental daddy figure stuff with kids that I'd never thought.
Father figure.
Father figure. Daddy's exclusively for you, and that's why this is not good for kids. No, but no, and I didn't watch this with them, but
no, you watched it with me,
with
an adult.
you, yeah. But I have watched some kid stuff with them to an extent, and maybe that's something we do in the
You're
more.
a little more open to watching animated things.
Yes. So yeah, this episode contains. I'm sorry, we already talked about all that. So let's get into the intro here. Before we dive in, let's set the scene. It's 2017, and Pixar drops one of the most emotional films ever.
A banger.
We'll get into that. Coca, a story that celebrates family, music, and Mexican culture through a young boy's adventure into the land of the dead. We will start spoiler-free and talk about the film's creation, message, and cultural roots, and then after a warning, we'll cross the Marigold Bridge and dive into the story deeper. So what was your first impression of Coco before watching, and did you expect it to make you cry, and did Pixar surprise you again?
Okay, did I expect it to make me cry? I was expecting Mufasa-like tears. I was not expecting geysers to come from within my soul, exploding out of my tear ducts. At a Disney movie, at a Pixar movie. I guess I should have seen that coming. But, but no, as far as me being Hispanic and seeing Hispanic culture represented in cartoon work, there was some, but there wasn't. I won't say that there was a lot, but I was very intrigued by this. But I will say that I was kind of going into it like, I don't want to say skeptic's not the right word, but like looking to see where they were going to mess it up, and I was so blown away by it. Like it was way better than I ever anticipated it being. Yeah,
it's a movie that I'd probably watch again with Spanish subtitles. I'm being honest. So
we can watch it in Spanish now?
I think.
Hola y bienvenidos al ABJ.
I want to see how much it translates with the Spanish, like the actual Spanish actors doing it. I wonder if it's the same acting cast, but just doing it in Spanish and not English.
I don't think that that's entirely inaccurate. I do believe this was one of Disney's first fully Latino cast, though. Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of cool. I know some people get all weirded out by like culture appropriation and also like people just hire the best person. But I do like when movies lean into like the culture. I think if this movie was done with white cast and white voice actors, I don't think it would have the same effect.
Right.
I think representation is important in the writer's room and creating room and stuff like that. There's some Disney Pixar movies. I haven't watched a kids movie in a very long time, or kids content in a very long time. But there are some times when they put out movies that I'm like, yeah, there's some aspects of this movie that I think would be cool. Like I do like the Land of the Dead stuff. I do like how is Pixar going to tackle death and grief and murder? You
And
know what I mean?
into it.
And still keep it kid friendly and understanding. And I was like, okay, this is there. It caught me off guard in some scenes
Right.
where I was like, wow, I can't believe they did that. Like, I
Right.
can't believe they dove into that. I can't believe that's a thing they did. Some other movies that I think like I'm kind of interested in just because of the stuff that it's talking, and it probably will make me open my eyes to watch other ones that I maybe thought would be interesting because of this movie, like Soul. I always thought the movie
I
Soul
still
looked
wanna
interesting
watch
because there's
that.
ghosts and paranormal in
And-
that. What's the Louisiana one where it's all like
That's the Princess and the Frog.
that one seems
I
interesting.
love that
Big Hero
movie.
6 is
you
another
would-
one.
Honestly, you would
Wreck-It
very mu-
Ralph.
Pause. Let's
Yeah.
just rewind for a second to the Princess and the Frog. You would love that. It has a voodoo magic doctor as the villain.
Yeah.
Like, with that Bayou spirit and all of the New Orleans
Like the video game I'm playing is like
culture
a
into it.
New Orleans style paranormal video game that I'm
Yeah,
playing.
yeah,
I forget the name of it, but it's really fun to play. But yeah, so I wasn't expecting. Did it make me cry?
I'm going to tell you really quick, spoiler alert. I've realized something about you, and I do not say this as an attack.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that I've recently made an epiphany about with Anthony, and that is that when it comes to the climax of the movie, that is the time in which Anthony needs to speak about where he relates to the climax of the movie directly over the emotional part. So as he's speaking over it, he's not having that emotional attachment. So I don't think he cries. And like in the climax of a movie where most people are like, oh my gosh, this is so emotional, he's trying to find the parts where he's relating to it, and he's like making those connection. And
I'm saying I enjoy it.
yeah, you're saying that you enjoy it, but you're speaking over like the parts that are gonna make you that emotional.
I will say this: I came close. I even like towards the end, I was like, "Oh, this is really beautiful." Like I without spoiling anything, there were some moments where I was like, "Okay, this is interesting." I'll say interesting because I want to kind of save some stuff for the end. But segment 1, the cultural heart, Dia de los Muertos. Muertos. I should
got
know
this.
that muertos because of
Mil muertos.
Mil muertos.
1,000 ways to die.
Yeah.
Thousand
Before we
deaths.
talk about Coco itself, we need to understand Dia de los Muertos. The Day of the Dead. I'm trying my best, all right? I'm learning
You
Spanish.
can
I'm getting
skip
there.
the los if it helps. It's
Yeah.
Dia de Muertos.
This isn't a Mexican version of Halloween. It is a vibrant celebration of life and remembrance where families honor their ancestors by building ofrendas, or altars, decorated with marigolds, candles, favorite foods, and for the departed. The marigold petals symbolize the path between the living and the dead, which they did
Pause.
so fucking beautifully in this
Pause.
movie. Yeah.
Pause. Time out. Because I would like to point out one thing that they did. They did do that beautifully in the movie, but I will say that if you go back to the beginning of these traditions, you have to think of Mexican towns and their little villages. The cemetery was in the center of the village where everybody had access to the cemetery, or maybe right outside of the village. But what the marigold symbolized was for people to cross over. They would come over the marigolds from the cemetery back to their houses, and that was to help them find their way back to their house.
Yeah.
So they did it in the movie. It is still done like that, I believe, in Mexico City with on a big bridge and things like that. But most people still have them going to their doorways.
It's gotta be so. I want to go to Mexico City for that.
I want to also.
I think it'd be
It's
so
tough.
fucking sick. I just think it's like I love when cultures don't fear death or don't fear
embrace it. It's
the
something beautiful.
afterlife, or like it's not like, once again, Christianity. Like we can celebrate Jesus coming back, but like that everything else is fucking terrifying, evil, that's satanic.
Right.
But I like Mexican culture when they're like, no, we're gonna paint our face and it's gonna look spooky and it's gonna have that symbolism. It's not spooky. It looks spooky
It's
to the
not
outsider.
to be scary.
Exactly.
It's to be respectful.
Yes, I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's vibrant. It's colorful. It's great. Sugar skulls. The help me with this one.
Or calaveras.
Thank you. Represent both humor and mortality. Families believe as long as you remember someone, they truly never leave you. And I think that's where this movie hit me the most, is like the Malcolm Moore lyric of like, when you die, they say you die twice. Once when you leave this earth, and the second time is no one remembers your name or no one speaks your name.
And that was the exact same thing he said directly over the climax. Go on.
Yeah, I think that's a very powerful thing. And I kind of said to you too, is it weird that like I look forward to death? Because I'm not saying I'm grateful for my time here. It's just something that I've struggled with for a long time, of my mortality. I'm almost 40. I'm going to keep it completely honest. I never wanted or expected myself to ever hit the age 40. I'm 2 years from there. And I'm more excited about life after 40 than I've ever been, because of where I'm at right now and the things I want to accomplish and things I want to do. And that's something I never thought I would ever experience. Like, and that didn't just that just kind of happened recently, which is weird to me. But, yeah, so I kind of liked that aspect of leaving a legacy strong enough that people still care and love you once you're no longer here. Pixar's team worked closely with Mexican culture consultants to ensure the authenticity, even hiring folklorists and visiting Oaxaca and Mexico City to study real traditions. That is a bucket list thing now. I would love to go to Mexico to see these cities, especially during that time frame to do that. Yeah.
So it's usually it starts the 30th, I believe, in a lot of cultures, and they go all the way. Some cultures go all the way to the 6th, but the biggest days are the 1st and the 2nd, which is all the Day of the Dead, and then All Saints Day, and then the next day is All Souls Day. I
kind of, when it comes to the Spanish style of heritage and culture, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I feel like I embrace the Mexican culture more than the others. This is going to probably piss off a lot of...
Because you like my flavor of food?
No, I think this might upset some of my Dominican and Puerto Rico friends, but I think a lot of the Dominican and Puerto Rican friends, like, your culture has been completely whitewashed and you're kind of cool with it. I hate to say that. It might sound fucked up coming from the white dude, but they are so embodied in Christianity that, like, I feel like they've lost their roots of who they are as people. Like, I genuinely ask, like, okay, in Dominican Republic, before Christianity showed up, what did you believe in? What was your gods? What did you worship? What did you... And they're like, oh, we're not even sure.
Right.
Like, because I love talking to people about their culture.
And by the way, happy Native American Indigenous Month.
Yes, but it's just like, fuck, man, you've completely lost touch and your base with your roots and your heritage and the Mexican culture has not done that.
Right.
They are very much embodied of like, this is what we,
to this day.
And I love that. I fucking love that. And once again, no disrespect to Dominican and Puerto Rican culture, but I feel like for how much they're into their culture, it's like a lot of your stuff is Black culture in America is kind of like that too. Like sometimes they're like, oh man, I'm just a super devout Christian. I'm like, that was really forced upon your people. Like, that's not where you come from. That's not who you are. Like, it kind of upsets me, but it's always like, man, once again, that fear of forgetting where you come from and what your culture and the fact that, like,
stand up.
Not trying to be, but white people have stripped that from you. And that's sad. Like, you've erased someone's entire history and what they stand for and what they believed in, like, just because it wasn't the same as yours. And I kind of respect the Mexican culture because they found a way to not do so.
But they also do have a lot of very Catholic people as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But even though
They're
it's
still
Catholic,
very devout in their faith, but they don't let faith come in the way of tradition or what came before them, or like, no, tradition, like just something being passed down, whether it be an act or knowledge.
Yeah. So what did Coco get right about the Day of the Dead? How do you think it helped people outside of Mexico understand the holiday better?
So this is going to be so... I don't want to say that. I wouldn't... I'm just going to say it. The papel picado, which is when in the opening scenes, they're showing you... He's kind of explaining about who his grandmother was, and how she was with this musician. But the story's being played out on the little tissue paper cutouts, that your little, snowflake looking things that, you know what I'm talking about, the decorations. But that's called papel picado, which is like cut up paper, decorative paper. And something that I thought was really cool that they put in there that not a lot of people, I think, realize. I think that it is symbolic of Day of the Dead. Like, you can buy decorations that say Day of the Dead and they'll have little skulls on the tissue paper.
Mm-hmm.
But something that's actually part tradition is to put your family or who you're remembering within those papers and the drawings in the cutouts that you do. And when you look in front of Miguel's house, he lives in front of a zapateria, which is the shoemaking spot.
Mm-hmm.
And the paper that's in front of it, they have little shoes on them. And like, that's actually like a nod to the actual tradition of, it's not just the skulls on there, but it's things that represent the people who have passed away.
Yeah. I actually, as we were talking to, I was looking into something with this as well. So I might add something here for you, change a little bit. I do want to touch into this just because we were kind of talking about it. Let me get it here. I'm trying to. So a little bit of controversy with this movie as well, with Disney and the Pixar Corporation. So before Coco became a cultural love letter to the Mexican Pixar Disney family, it nearly made a massive misstep. In 2013, Disney attempted to trademark Dia de los Muertos. They tried to trademark Day of the Dead, which is
the name of the holiday.
Yes, which is essentially stealing their culture to profit and make money off of it. So anytime it's used or said, Disney gets money in their chalk.
Right.
Fuck that. That sucks. So the backlash was immediate. Artists, activists, and Latin communities called out the corporation for trying to own their sacred tradition. You cannot trademark someone's culture. The Day of the Dead isn't a product. It's part of who we are. To Disney's credit, they listened, and the company reversed its decision and invited cultural consultants, including Alistair himself, to join the creative process. Director Lee Ehrlich reoriented the project's mission. Coco wouldn't have been incorporated as in the corporate fantasy. It would have been a collaboration with Mexican creators. A result, the course correction that turned a potential disaster into triumph. The controversy forced Pixar to rethink how stories are told and people and culture, start setting a new standard for authenticity and respect to animation. And I believe, I don't know the whole story behind it as well, but I believe there was a story too where the grandmother Coco is kind of based off a real person.
No.
It's not?
No, but they were saying that the image, I believe, is how it goes. It shared the likeness of a real person.
Okay. Because like the movie Cars is depicted off a real person's story, but using his story without giving him any credit. And then the family still was like, hey, man, you kind of took our fucking family story, made a story about it, and then gave us no fucking credit or checks of our history. That has happened in the past with Disney. So I wanted to kind of bring that up too.
Kind of ironic.
Yeah. I mean, the story of Rocky, that's stolen off a real person's life who'd never seen a dime of it. And that sucks. That fucking sucks. All right, where are we at here? I kind of lost
I'm not really sure
anymore.
anymore.
I'm just bouncing back to where we were in the thing. Coco making Coco, Pixar's bold leap.
I would just skip that because that's basically everything you just said.
Is it?
Except
So Coco development began in 2021 with director Lee Ehrlich of Toy Story 3 and co-director Adrian Monolith leading the project. Molina leading the project. Pixar knew that they were making a walk into sensitive territory. They wanted to celebrate, not appropriate. At one point, Disney even tried to trademark the name, but we already talked about that. But after backlash, they backed off and apologized. And instead of it, brought more Mexican voices into the production that shifted everything. We talked about before how they changed who they hired and how they do that. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit. How important do you think the authenticity is in animated films like this? Can audiences feel when it's real versus when it's just representation for show?
Don't ask me. Because, well, I mean, maybe do ask. I don't know. Because if you look at the Three Amigos.
Yeah. That was whitewashed.
It was just like, oh, we're in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing the Mexican thing versus, like, it's very done in a comedic way.
Yeah.
And not a very serious tone.
Great in a movie, though. The comedy version with
Steve Martin.
And all
Yeah.
those. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the bit of like, hey, we're white dudes doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, just doing it for the bit or doing it in a serious tone.
If you're part of the Mexican culture and you're watching this or listening to this, let us know what you think of the movie also in the comment section. Did they mess up on stuff? Did they not still hit the mark even though, they were kind of called out for their bullshit and course corrected?
So I think that one thing that I will say that I wish that I saw more of, there is, spoiler alert, it's not getting deep into detail of anything, but I wish that there were more mariachi groups featured, because it was more featuring like one guitarist. Like there was one group that was in there twice, but they didn't have a lot of groups in it.
Could I counter that?
Sure.
So you're kind of seeing it through the eyes of him and his family and his culture, and he was so repressed from it that I think they made it a choice not to showcase a lot of the music until it was time for it, because it was like, this kid hasn't been around it at all, and he only knew one thing, and because he only knew one thing, he became obsessed with it. Like, if you only know one band because you're not allowed to consume music and all you know is this one band, you are going to deep dive everything about that because it's the only thing
you're not going to just listen to one instrument.
Sure, but what I'm saying is just that's the only thing he had access to it.
No, I understand that part, and I can understand like his love for the guitar. But I'm saying, as far as Mexican culture goes, you're asking how I feel about that, so that's what I'm talking about. I feel as though, as far as the Mexican culture goes, there are so many different instruments that are not used in other cultures. Now, a guitar is used in other cultures, but even you were saying like you love the sound of a Spanish guitar.
Oh yeah, Mexican Spanish guitar is beautiful.
So, but a guitarrón, which is the big doom doom doom,
like the
doom,
bass,
doom doom, right? That you pluck at it. I think that it's featured in one scene that you see it like at the very beginning, but not during any of the other scenes where there's music being played, and that is taking place in Mexico, you would see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the only thing. I'm not saying that you had to have a specific, like a song just dedicated to them as a soloist, but I would have liked to see more like that. There were accordions, which is another staple in traditional,
which is big in Italian
norteño music.
Accordions are huge in Italian culture too. I remember growing up, like when they would have the Italian festivals, like there would be an accordion player that would come to the house and play, and I was like, this sucks, but it was their thing. I will say this, without getting into the next, before we get into the next topic, the animation of him playing the guitar was fucking excellent. Like his finger picking and him moving the strings, and like it looked like I was watching a real person play guitar. Like they did a really good job with that. But spoiler warning, the story of Miguel's journey. From this point forward, we will be discussing major spoilers within this film. Okay? So let's have some fun. Miguel Rivera is a young boy who dreams of being a musician, despite his family's strict ban on music that's lasted for generations. On the Day of the Dead, I don't want to keep trying to say it because I will fuck it up. He borrows a guitar from his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz, and he ends up crossing into the land of the dead. There, he meets his ancestors, including Hector, a trickster who becomes his unlikely friend. Together, they uncover the truth that Ernesto stole Hector's songs and framed him, and Hector.
Whoa!
I'm just laying out the film. This is spoiler alert, and we're going to talk about it.
He didn't frame him. He didn't frame Hector.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hector. He stole Hector's song and fame. Sorry, fame, not frame. Hector was Miguel's great-grandfather the entire time. This story is about family, forgiveness, and legacy, told with Pixar's emotional, gut-wrenching precision. When did the movie hit you the hardest emotionally, and when was the first Remember Me or the final scene with Mama... Oh, sorry, was it the first Remember Me or the final scene with Mama Coco?
Neither.
Really?
Which one of those two hurt me more? I think the first time I heard... You're not going to understand any of the references that I'm about to make. The very first time I heard it, I think he's like watching it up in his little
Like shack.
hiding spot he has up in the attic or whatever it is, and he's watching a like movie back and the guy's singing it. The entire character of Ernesto de la Cruz reminds me a lot of a singer, a ranchero, I guess he would be called, but his name is Vicente Fernandez, and he is like iconic. The big sombrero, the white, exactly like Ernesto de la Cruz was wearing, the white mariachi fit with the gold little embellishments on it and everything. It was very Vicente. Like it screamed him to me. So listening to that kind of like, it was a core memory. Oh, have you watched Inside Out yet?
No.
Okay, we're gonna get to that one later. It unlocked something for me that was like, I could hear myself listening to this in my great grandfather's like living room, like just sitting there with him. Like my great grandfather only spoke Spanish, and I was very young. I was 8 years old when he passed away, but I didn't know Spanish up until then. So I didn't have like I never could have a conversation with my grandfather. But every time we would go visit him, I would just sit in the living room and just like soak up the ambiance, you know what I mean? And we would just listen. Like that was our connecting thing, was we would listen to music together. So the first time I heard that, I feel like that was more emotional for me because it kind of like unlocked something for me. But the last, when Coco starts singing it, the waterworks happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot. But I think that emotionally, where it hit me the hardest was with the grandmother Elena, how she's so like, you're wrong, and I already told you you're wrong, and it's my way, and don't you do this, and like the way that everyone in the family like holds their breath around her almost. Like she has that authority. I have that in my family. I've had that in my family. And emotionally, like the mom base, or like the grandmother being like, you're wrong, and no matter what I say, I'm right. And then at the end, when she's crying, like she's ready to smash yet another guitar.
She would have smashed a guitar.
Oh my God.
Even
if that, my very first guitar was a $60 guitar I got from a freaking pawn shop. I'm still mad to this day that I don't have that guitar, even though it was only a few bucks. But like, somebody ruins a guitar like that on purpose, I'm crying.
Could you imagine the sacred guitar like that was in a mausoleum, and she just shatters it?
She's getting ready to break the second guitar. She's already smashed through the entire door. Yeah. No, she smashed it because he locked her out, right? And she smashes through the door, and she's still getting ready to. And the only reason I think at that point she stops is because his dad like stops her and goes, hang on, like just wait a second. And that was, I think, the first time anybody actually stood up to her. And to me, that was more of an emotional experience of like, she stopped and went, okay, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am missing something. And you see just the one tear. To me, that is such an emotional, that is like such a gut wrenching thing for me, because I think that is, I don't think that's necessarily, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's just a trope for Hispanic families. I think that that's a lot of families that an older tradition, you just listen to whoever's the oldest, and you don't go against what they say. You respect them no matter if they're right or wrong, or if they're saying something that will get them canceled in today's manner, because they're the oldest of the family. So you respect them and you give them their respect no matter what they're wrong or right. You don't correct them. And to see that, like, right. But to see that at the end.
I fucked that up a lot.
That was it for me.
Yeah, I agree. I loved that they don't show it to you, right? But they show it to you when the work's already done, like his secret clubhouse. He has compiled posters, movies, records. He's ran electricity to this thing. He has TV. His passion for this is bar none the most impressive thing I've ever seen in a child. He created his own guitar. You know what I mean? He didn't go and buy a guitar. Like, he made that.
Right. And then he
found ways to tighten the strings and tune it, and taught himself the guitar.
Just by watching the movies over and over and seeing where his fingers go.
He got so good at the guitar just by watching a film. Like, that whole aspect that wasn't even talked about, but like to know music, and it's so impressive.
And that love for music too. And to have that love of something that's so forbidden, but it's like, I don't care, I'm gonna give it everything I have,
because he's connected to it,
right?
How he said, well, you say that, like, our ancestors are here to guide us. This is my ancestor guiding me.
Right. I think I won't. Yeah, because so the whole point of the movie is he crosses over into the land of the dead.
Well, he thinks Ernesto is his great grandfather.
Let's continue with continue with where we're going.
But
here.
Real quick, but the fact that he thinks that most of the time that Ernesto is his great grandfather.
So I think the only reason he believed that is because in the picture, it's the guitar.
Yes.
The guitar is Ernesto's guitar.
And
so
the fit is the same
like,
too.
Right. And he's like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. But I think when you think about something like that, tell me something. Have you ever thought ever in your brain, maybe I could be the milkman's kid, and maybe the milkman is really
like somehow
Julia Roberts is really my
somehow
mom.
I'm related to the Wahlbergs.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was adopted within my family, but like I didn't know where my mom really went. And I was like, maybe my mom's really Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, but I feel like there is always a certain thing of if you don't know where somebody is or you're not taught about someone, you want to believe that there's someone amazing. But he already did, like you said, he did feel connected with Ernesto because of that. And he was living in the same town that Ernesto was from and everything. And all this music is constantly surrounding him. But he found the love for it anyway.
Yeah. Well, going back to what hit you the hardest for me is just like he found something that it wasn't something that everybody else around him was into or were doing. Like that was kind of a thing for me too. Like growing up, like firefighting, football, basketball. Like I kind of felt I liked basketball, but like I was a pro. Like everything I kind of got into was because I wanted to be into it. Like I liked pro wrestling. I came on TV one day and it was like, oh, pro wrestling. Like I found MTV and like, oh shit, this kid likes this kind of music. And like I took bits and pieces of what my parents have always been into, but I've always kind of found myself in my own things of I enjoying, and I've always had that self identity. Like growing up listening to Howard Stern, it was a thing my dad got me into, but it was like I want to do that. I want to communicate. I like talking. I like hearing people's stories and then learning about podcasts and stuff. So like, and the other thing that really hit me hard with this movie too was meeting your hero. Sometimes you idolize someone and it even takes it another step of he idolized this guy, loved this guy, and then, oh my God, this guy might be...
this guy is his family.
This guy might be my fucking familia. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, he's not. And he's everything that I wouldn't want in a person. He's evil.
Well, let's pause. Let's go back a little bit before that.
Yeah.
He wasn't even sure that he was his No, he didn't even know at that point that he wasn't his grandfather. All he knew was that, like, this could be my grandfather and a murderer. But I'm just, like, uncomfortable, and it's okay, Grandpa, just send me back, please.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I loved you. I thought I loved everything about you, but maybe I actually don't know a single thing about you.
He was essentially playing into the role of, like, okay, I'll still pretend you're my grandson now that I know the truth, but if you send me back, I at least put his photo on the altar and save him.
Right.
Yeah. The scene where the first soul gets taken away when you hear Hector play the guitar the first time and he sings a song to the old man, and it's kind of like the dirty song that he kind of edits because there's children there. That was a beautiful scene of just like when you first hear Hector be a musician and you're like, oh, this motherfucker's probably his grandfather.
But okay, so I don't think that the first time I watched it through, it was definitely like, I know you're somebody who's constantly looking for like, how do we book this, or how did this get booked, or this is how it's going to go, and almost like everything's like a murder mystery for you and you got to figure it out. But I don't think I saw it coming at all the first time, but I think that it was just beautifully.
I just remember when we were watching and I was like, oh, I would change this. I would make Hector his fucking grandfather. And Ernesto somehow stole his life. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
No. First of all, I'm trying to remember what you said first. Because I was like, are you locking that in? Because you're so
I said Ernesto's going to be his grandfather.
Yeah. And I was like, you locking that in? Yeah. Is that what you're locking in? Are you locking it in? And you're like, maybe.
Until he met Hector. And I was like,
no.
No, the first time I heard Hector play the guitar, I was like, oh, I would change this. I would make Hector his family.
I don't think you were there yet. I think that you were still at they were partners. And then it was like right before he played the video that I was like, you said, oh, I think he killed him. He killed him. I was like, he poisoned him.
No, way before that I had the whole idea of like, no, like this
anyway.
But no, I thought it was beautifully done. But then also the hardest hitting thing was only because I watched this whole video one time of and it's kind of hitting me more now than it has been, and I don't want to dive too much into it because I don't want to upset people in my family if they listen to this, but the moment when Coco hears the song and she's this old lady who her
Just
skin, she's about to die, and her skin is like just thing, and she has no life left, and she hears the guitar, and she hears
And when you
the lyrics, "Remember Me," and her eyes
she's
open,
getting
and
like life back into her, breathed back into her.
because there's a whole video of like people taking music into like retirement homes and letting them hear music of their time, and like you watch this person who's just depressed and has nothing left in life and their soul is gone, and they hear something that reminds them of a better time, and they just hear that music of, and it's just even deeper than that. Like someone created this 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, and someone's now hearing it again. Probably that song has not been played through speakers in 40 years, and someone heard it, and it just breathes life into them. And that's a beautiful thing about art, you know?
I'm going to say something that goes back into this whole like beauty and darkness thing, right? And that is that feeling of hearing something for the first time. Mm-hmm. What a beautiful feeling that must be to... Can you imagine hearing your favorite song for the first time over and over?
Sometimes my favorite song doesn't hit me my first time. I have to hear it, and then I hear it again, and then I'm like, then I connect the dots of why.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, could you go back to never hearing it again? Like, you'll never hear it the same way, right? Mm-hmm. But some people get the chance to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like they get to experience that first time I heard it ever again.
Yeah. Well, let's keep that going with the music that bridges the worlds. Music is the heartbeat of Coco, which it was, but I wish it was more. Like, I feel there was points where the music was there, but they, like, there's only, like, really 2 or 3, like, I don't like when Disney or Pixar puts a lot of music in their movies, because I'm like, that was so unfucking needed. Mm-hmm. But this is the movie they could have leaned into it a little harder and did more musical acts.
I want to go back to you saying you want to watch this again with the Spanish subtitles, because the song that the grandmother sings, the first time I heard it, that might have been the most emotional part for me, because he's telling the grandmother, like, you don't even know, you'll never know what it feels like, and she says, I still like the song that she's talking about. When he's going up the stairs. Yeah, and she's crying, and she's like, I cried every day because I still feel that pain, and I'm like, oh my God, not only is she crying, but she's talking about, like, the music in itself hurts me to even listen to it, so that's why I didn't want to hear it. Like, that's speaks volumes in and of itself.
Another part that hit me hard too is when they're on the stage. She has the photo. She's trying to run away from the security, and the spotlight's on her, and
she just has to start, like, singing.
Yeah, and he's like, sing, and she starts singing, and the people are like, oh my God, her voice is beautiful. Like, because it's not who has been the one singing it to you. It's
right.
I'm hearing this song once again, a song that Ernesto has become made famous for in life and in death.
Right.
Like, he has literally taken the mantle of music from one realm to another, and now we're hearing his song sang by a woman, and I'm connected more to it.
Right.
And it's like, wait, and then the little boy being that person, like, Miguel, where I kind of have that thing of like, oh, you and you, let's put you two together. I can put this piece and this piece together because I see something that no one else sees. And he grabs the guitar, and he's talented enough to start playing it, but he knows to hand it to Hector.
Right.
And then that moment of like, this should have been destiny. This should have been the path. The path of music should have been her singing and him playing,
right,
and not him not making the art with his love, but going out and meeting Ernesto and being his downfall. And now that is being recreated in the afterlife. Like, I was like, that's fucking beautiful. I like that scene too. Yeah, I thought that was a really powerful scene.
No, definitely.
Where was I at here? So, if you haven't caught on, I'm into this movie. So it's
Which is good. We love that.
Yeah. So once again, so the music is a heartbeat of Coco. Every song from Un Poco Loco to The World Es Mi Familia connects life, love, and identity. The film's signature song, Remember Me, won an Oscar for being the best original song of 2018. Which it should have been. But what makes it powerful and not just a melody is its context. The same song once symbolized fame for being a lullaby of a love between a father and a daughter.
Well, say that again.
Sorry. The song, once that symbolized fame, becomes a lullaby from love between a father to a daughter. He wrote "Remember Me" as a song that could mean everything: showbiz, memory, and the connections beyond death. Which is the composer who wrote the song, Robert Lopez, when he said he composed this. So, how did the music in Coco affect you? Experience emotionally? Would the story have worked without it?
So I think going back to like how I originally said, exactly like it's saying now, the first time I heard it, I thought of Vicente Fernandez, this very well-known, well-rounded mariachi singer that was just known for how he sang, and he had that grandiosity about how he sang, and the way that he had that grizzle in his voice and everything to make it sound, and the grito in it and everything to have that emotion. Hearing that and hearing it almost maybe commercialized isn't the right word to use, but put into a way to make it look very peacocky, so to speak, versus at the end hearing it with that raw emotion. Like, it hits you completely different, and it can be the same song and it can have those same words but have two separate meanings. And I think that's what's beautiful about art in general. I could tell you that my favorite song is "Can You Feel My Heart" by Bring Me the Horizon. And it might mean one thing to me, and you can listen to it and say that this song is about something completely different. Art's subjective, and you can find your beauty in it no matter which way you're trying to look for it. But I think that the way that, do I think that the movie could have moved forward differently without that song? I don't know, because I feel like the point of the message of the grandmother forgetting things and the music bringing that memory back and bringing that life back, I don't think that could be told in the same way if you used a different song.
And it was really good of just like, the only other time I felt like a movie really hit like Remember Me does for Coco is Elton John, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
See, I was going to say You'll Be in My Heart in Tarzan. That one hits me. Phil Collins.
Yeah.
'Cause you'll be... Right,
because like Remember Me, the whole premise of this movie is remembering the dead.
Right.
And remembering this. But then Coco is dying and she's losing her memory, and she doesn't remember too good. And then it's like, it ties into with the music of... It was beautifully done. The guy who wrote it, I always wonder, like, in the creative process, does he read the script, see the movie, then write the song? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's almost like it flowed so well together. Like, it's hard to write a hit song, but Disney and Pixar somehow find these fucking amazing composers who could put music to a movie, and it works every fucking time, and it's crazy to me that it does.
Well, I'm not sure if
it's witchcraft.
I'm not sure if he read the script, but like, you were just reading that quote, and he was saying that it needed to mean everything from showbiz and memory to connection beyond death. So like, maybe they didn't tell him the whole script, but maybe they're like, listen, we need it to mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah, just a legacy in general.
So Pixar's Afterlife, designing the land of the dead. Visually, Coco is one of Pixar's most stunning creations. I would agree.
Yeah.
The land of the dead was inspired by Tijuana, right?
No.
It's not with a G?
Guanajuatos.
Okay, I was way off.
You're right.
Colorful architect. Abredes? Fantastical spirit animals, and the Aztec and Catholic symbolism. The team even went and used digital lighting engine to mimic candle glow and marigold's reflections. Every bright of the petal feels alive. Every light tells a story. So what scene or visual moment stuck with you the most? The bridge, the ofrenda of reveal, or something else?
Visually, there were a few things. The Miguel becoming a skeleton, becoming transparent. I thought that was a really cool element that they did. But another, I think this is way back, rewind like a half hour. You were asking me, like, what did they get right? The pan de muerto, the food that they set out, even specific desserts that they would have. I think that visually, like, seeing those, like, that could be overlooked so easily. You could have put any food out there. It could have just been fruit and meat and whatever. But to add those pastries in it and to see the different kinds in there, I thought that was really cool. And another element that I was even talking about, I think I was telling you about the way that maybe it's just because I have been having back problems and hip problems now, but even the way that they had, they made a little joke about Miguel walking, and he's like, "Oh, I'm walking like a skeleton. Like, this is how you walk." But then later, when you're seeing Ernesto de la Cruz come at him when his mansion is empty, right, and he's like walking at him, there is a very certain way that you walk in boots, and there's a certain way that rancheros and mariachis would walk in their boots and their like in their outfits and their getup, and his hips, his pelvic bones moved a specific way that mimics that so perfectly that, like, to me that just cracks me up, that I'm like, man, they got that, even a skeleton to walk in a way that like is typical of that. Is
it
just
nailed the
wild
details.
to me. Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For me, it's the first time you see the land of the dead, when the marigolds are glowing, and when he first grabs a guitar and you see the glow of
The sound when he strums it.
Yeah, that was really cool. But then, like, that first element of entering the land of the dead, I want to say where I like
Are we
about
talking about before he hits the bridge, when he's still in the cemetery?
he's in the cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah, because where most movies would go dark, creepy, scary because it's death and it's supposed to be deemed in a different light, in a different context, this movie cranks the neon, cranks the color, cranks the beauty up,
Right.
which makes death not as scary, which makes it not as eternally gone. Like, to the human mind that's alive, you're like, when you're dead, you're gone, it's over. But to them, it's
So
like, no, it's a whole nother realm.
It's belief that, like, on Earth, you're never gonna see the amount of beautiful things that you would see when you're in the afterlife. The color has no meaning. Like, these are the dullest colors you will ever see in your life, is what you see when you're alive. But when you're dead, you see everything is amplified by 1,000.
And when he crosses the bridge for the first time, it kind of gave me the Tim Burton Beetlejuice feel, where it had the neons and the colors, but it didn't lean at all into the dark, the spooky. Almost like zero blacks were used, zero grays, zero, like, it was just
It was
vibrant.
very vibrant.
Yeah, and I do like that, and the way the things glowed and stuff was really, really well done. And even, like, when the villain presents itself, like, sure, it's dark, but they never really get away from dark atmosphere. It's always kind of done in light. And even if the spookiest character and the most evil looking character was the panther, but that was even violent and vibrant and everything like that.
What was his name? That was the Mama Imelda's Alebrije, or Familiar. If you're interested in Familiars, we just did a podcast on those.
I don't know if this will probably air before that, but go check it out. Maybe we'll do like a
Crossover,
like a coincide with like this one. So if, regardless of which one airs first, go check out the Truth Behind Illusion. We did a whole episode on familiars. So yeah, let's get into our segment here. Awards, impact, and cultural legacy. So Coco became a cultural milestone, earning 800 million worldwide, winning 2 Oscars, and being embraced and respected as love letter to the Mexican culture, which is insane. I didn't know of any of this. I'm so out of touch with kid movies and stuff like that I didn't realize how hard this movie hit for people.
So I don't know if you remember, this is me and my big mouth. I was working at a warehouse earlier this year, and I don't know if you remember me telling you that they played this for Cinco de Mayo. And I was like, you missed the landmark by a lot. Like, freaking holy
Mexican
airball. Holy
Independent
freaking
and
airball.
Day of the Dead are 2 different things.
Mexican Independence Day is the 16th of September.
What is Cinco de Mayo then?
It's a completely different war that was fought. Like, this.
Oh, so it's a different war? So, like, the Battle of Your Independence and the Gettysburg are 2, like how people would blend.
Yeah, that's like saying the 4th of July and the Gettysburg Address happened on the same day.
Yeah, I
4
gotcha.
score and 7 years ago. But it was actually 500 score and 1,000,000 years ago.
I feel you. It also inspired global audience to learn more about the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, sparking new appreciation for Latino storytelling in animation. Pixar's careful collaboration with Mexican creators set an industry standard for cultural respect and authenticity, which has carried on. The Lion King changed up when it kind of was remade. Like, a lot of movies that have been now deemed too woke, it's giving a different culture a way to tell their storytelling
and to do it in a way that they can be celebrated.
It's funny because, like, we've had storytellers for centuries, and we've stolen other people's culture stories and whitewashed them and put them in front of with white characters and stuff.
Yeah, we talking to you, Disney.
And then now the movie's being done with the right culture and the right people and the right storytelling, and it's like, well, this is woke, you're forcing it on us. It's like, no,
honey,
this has
that's
always
called-
been here, but
it's called growth.
yeah.
And in case you missed it, you're supposed to freaking grow.
Yeah, but it was these stories have always been here, but instead of the stories being told to you by what is your representation, it's now being told by someone else's representation, because you can't wrap your head around a way of accepting somebody else's representation and not seeing yourself in the character because they visually don't look like you. You cannot separate. You can't see the humanity in that and still find the representation. That's a you problem, not a world problem.
Right.
Yeah. How has Coco changed how you see Pixar? What have you expected more from the animated storytelling?
Ooh. I will say that Pixar, I think, holds true to the way that they tell stories. They do have that gut punch effect in their storytelling, and they have a way of making emotional connections with things. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that's necessarily Disney. Not that Disney doesn't have a way of doing that as well, but I don't think that as far as like animated storytelling goes, I think that the way that it's done was done very well because although the animation style was all done in, I don't recall what year you just said this comes out, but I do like the way that they did kind of make it go back to like that almost black and white feeling of like the very, very early days when they're talking about how, like whenever Hector is reminiscing about his younger days and they animated that part. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool how they did that. Like they're doing a world within a world within a world.
Yeah. Pixar has always been, for me, if I'm going to watch a kid's movie, I will probably lean heavier into a Pixar movie than I would a Disney movie.
That's fair.
And I know they're one and the same, but they
How
are.
do you feel about what is it? I'm sorry.
DreamWorks?
Yeah.
So DreamWorks is the AEW to the WWE Pixar.
Okay. I'll allow it.
DreamWorks kind of set the standard, then Pixar was created, or vice versa. One was created before the other, and then the one people didn't like the way they were being done there, so they went and created their own thing type deal. So there's a little bit of a rivalry, and they have poked fun at each other within different movies. But Pixar for me has always been, the second I seen Toy Story as a kid, I was like, oh, this is different.
Right.
They're telling different stories here. They have a different animation style. This is
right.
They're going for it. You know what I mean? Like it's just visually telling it better. So for just from this, I know this happened in 2017, and I'm watching it with brand new 2025 eyes and never even realized any of this ever existed. I'm enough in the pop culture reference that I understand who these characters are and what they exist like and what they look like. Like if you showed me a picture of Hector the skeleton, I couldn't tell you his name was Hector, but I'm like, oh, that's the that's the thing from Coco. Yeah, right. That's kind of the furthest I've went into the story. Like I looked at the Mama Coco and I'm like, oh, that's the little old lady from the movie Coco. Yeah,
but you have no idea,
fucking clue
that she only has 5 whole minutes of screen time.
Yeah, and it to me, this movie has like maybe opened me up a little more to like, I should probably give more Pixar movies a second look at. Like, I think the last kids movie I watched was, what's the one with where the animals are all kind of talking about racism, where like the one animals are feral and the other ones are good and they're playing a cop. It's like a bunny rabbit.
Oh, Zootopia.
I think that's the last kids movie I watched before this one.
I'm sorry. For some reason, my brain went right to Wicked.
Oh, really?
And I was like, the animals are going feral. Do you mean they're more animalistic? Are you calling them beasts? How could you?
That's what they were doing in that movie.
That's literally where my brain went. Yeah. But yeah.
No, so Zootopia is probably the last one I watched. Is that Pixar as well?
No, that's a DreamWorks.
That's DreamWorks, yeah. But like that's probably the last one I watched. And then like this, after watching Coco, I was like, I kind of want to see more.
Well, with the kids, you watched How to Train Your Dragon.
I've seen that before, though.
Fair.
How to Train Your Dragon I watched with Austin and Nathaniel.
Did you watch the second one? Where we were watching them with the Light Fury?
I have not.
You were also playing Fortnite, to be fair.
How to Train Your Dragon I must have watched probably 30 times with Nathaniel because that was his movie and he would just watch it. Tater. Brian's kid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry.
He would watch that 100 times. He loved it. That was his movie. And he would always come here like every Monday. And if I wasn't working on a Monday because I was working that swing shift, he would come up to my room and he's like, can you put the Dragon movie on? And I was like, all right. And I watched that
Okay.
like a bunch of times with him. But let's get into the last one. Fun facts and behind the scenes. The film's title, Coco, refers to not the boy, but his great-grandmother, symbolizing how the oldest among us even often hold the most powerful memories. Hector's guitar design hides a skull motif in the body shape on the neck of it. I think that looks so fucking sick.
Well, they're not just talking about that. They're talking about the entire guitar.
Oh, okay.
'Cause the guitar body itself is in the shape of a
I
skull.
want to find that guitar.
Oh, I do too.
I want to put it on display.
We should just get a guitar. They make them on Amazon where it's like build your own guitar and we can just design it. I can use my Cricut to design
Disney
it.
has a
look right.
$300 guitar that you could buy, like an acoustic, but the neck of the card doesn't have the teeth on the. I'm like, I'm not buying that. I'm not paying $300 if it doesn't have the fucking teeth, the gold
I want
tooth
the
on
gold
it.
tooth on it.
Every Abrea.
Alebrije.
Adabrije
There you go.
is
Proud of you.
inspired by real Mexican folk art creatures. Coco was the first film to put a featured fully Latino cast, which is wild that it took till 2017 to do that. I didn't realize that this movie set the standard, which is kind of dope too. What is your favorite Easter egg or detail? I think you kind of talked about this with the food, right? That would probably be
So
your...
yeah, with the food and the papel picado, like I said, them putting even the shoes into it, I thought that was really cool. Another Easter egg I think I was telling you about when you're looking. So Coco, although it had a fully Latino cast, I believe was released. I don't know if it was released in English and in Spanish at the same time. I'm really not certain about that. But I was telling you in his little shack, I thought it was cool that if you look on the posters, a lot of them say, remember me, remember me, remember me. And then there's one where he's got the vinyl where he's taking the vinyl out and he takes it out of the sleeve and he puts the vinyl onto the record player.
It's in Spanish.
But when he puts the sleeve away, it says recuérdenme, which is remember me,
Yeah.
but in Spanish. I thought that was a cool thing. And another thing, so un poco loco. Do you know what that means?
There's something
I said
crazy.
That super white. A little crazy. You make me a little crazy.
Un poco. Un would be one, right?
Yeah.
So un poco loco. I would have said. I always think poquito is little, but poco is little too.
A little crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy, but only a little crazy.
Gotcha. Okay.
A itty bitty crazy would be a poquito loco.
Gotcha.
Itty bitty crazy.
Itty bitty. So when I
Poquito is itty bitty.
shit. Okay. There's a guy at my job who's not very tall, and I always say he's very poquito. So I'm saying he's very, very small.
You're calling him pequeño?
Yeah, he's fucking tiny. His feet are this
Don't
big.
call him that. I've been saying this since day one, kids. Don't talk about people's looks. Leave people's looks out.
I had to get on his lift
Anyway.
to move it, and dude, I couldn't. Like, it's like getting in the car after someone's that tiny's in it, and I'm like,
And then hitting
and
your
then I
knees
had
off
to
the
pull the
dashboard.
seat back, and I didn't put it back when I got off because forklift seats aren't something you can like. You have to be
You have to
physically
move
sitting
them,
on
move
it to,
them, right.
yeah. And then he got on it, and he was like, and I was like, oh, Paquito, and he's like,
What a jerk.
I didn't know I was
yeah,
saying little. Yeah.
Something funny about that. So loco is crazy.
Yes,
but
I know that. And
Coco,
loca is a
what
little
is-
crazy for women. You don't have to be offended. I'm just trying to. I know.
So Coco, what is Coco?
Coco is chocolate,
Okay,
Coca?
buddy.
right? Isn't cocoa chocolate?
But it could also mean in the head. So un poco loco en el coco. They're a little gone in the head. It's a little crazy in the head.
I did not know that.
So Coco being Coco, she's a little out there. She's a little spacey. And I thought that was, I don't know that they did that intentionally, but I was like, when they first, I was like, dang, they really called her grandma crazy out the bat. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, she's not the kind of, I mean,
But she's been
crazy,
Coco
but
since
she's
she's
not
a baby,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, like that was
Yeah.
her name. But
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of like Mirabel in Encanto being, and they call her Mira. And that
I didn't
means
finish
to
that.
see.
I did like that one though, but I never
wish
finished
you would go
it.
watch that one too. That's a good one too.
I forgot
I'm gonna
I was
make
watching
you watch
that.
one.
We
All
got
right.
halfway through and I
We're
liked
coming.
because
We'll
I
be
remember I
back.
laughed because that one's more Dominican, right?
Because I showed you. I said whenever she does the present to him, she goes.
She points at with her lips, and I thought that was funny. Like they added that element because working with a lot of Dominicans are like,
So that one, I don't think they actually said if they had a specific heritage that they were going after. It was just like Latino.
yeah, Latino. For me, just going back to the representation stuff, like I can't really pull the representation of the Mexican culture in this, so I had to like kind of in my brain, like, what did this remind me of? And he reminded me a lot of Elvis, where I felt like, oh, Elvis is this giant phenomenon who did the movies and the music and had all the merchandise,
Right. So,
but then also stole everyone's culture and stole someone's artwork and kind of gotten popular because of it. Hot take. Sorry, Elvis
no,
fans.
I mean you're not wrong, but actually, like when you said that yesterday we were watching it. That when you said that, I was like, actually, ironically, I could see that. I could see like all of Elvis's little get-ups with his rhinestone fits. They definitely could have been mariachi outfits. Like that 100% like checks out.
Yeah. So let's close this one out. Remember me always. Coca reminds us that stories, songs, and love keep us alive long after we're gone. It's a celebration of identity, heritage, and the unbreakable thread between generations. So as we wrap up, light a candle, play a song, and remember someone who made your life brighter. Because as the film says, our love for each other will live on forever. So we've actually adapted this to the Truth Behind Illusion, where every episode we dedicate the episode or say like, hey, we're going to invite a spirit to come and join us or whatever it may be, or just say, hey, remembering a person or a place or a thing. If this movie were to be for you, who would you light your candle or welcome to the table, even though we're pretty much done? But for this episode, who is someone you want to remember?
Get back to you on that.
Okay. I'm going to say my grandparents, the ones that are no longer with me. I would say just because it kind of struck me of like, oh man, I feel like I didn't have that time with them when they were here. Like my grandfather, my pop-up, my grandma Betty, and then my grandfather, like I don't even really, we were so separate. I don't even know what to call him. Like, cause I was so used to calling pop-up, and then I met this were you pop-up? Are you grandpa? Like I didn't really develop a name for him. Like, which kind of sucks because like, in the world of this thing, is he now gone in the afterlife because I've never really remembered him or talked about him? You know what I mean? Like is that kind of sucks when you think about it. So like I don't know, but like that my grandparents. I think I'm very tied with that. I have people tattooed on my body, and my grandfather, my dad's side too, also has that part of him where like, yeah, he wasn't a great dude. His alcoholism, and he was kind of violent and treated women and kids kind of terribly. But like the guy I met on his deathbed looked like he kind of gotten past that, and he was a super nice dude, and he used to dance with me, and he was really excited to see me as his grandkid. Right. And even though I only met him like 2 or 3 times, like he was beyond. I just remember the immense love and gratitude he felt for my parents bringing me there, and it was very short-lived, but it was just like. It was almost like when Coco has life again. Like my grandfather was always told to him, like I was always told my grandfather was a dancer. Like him and my grandmother would go to these dances and like swing, and they were like, they would steal the fucking show. They'd go out in the middle of the floor and when he's seen me, he was like getting up and dancing and like, oh my God, my grandson. Like, so that's where I'm going to dedicate mine to. I'm going to say my grandparents that are no longer with us. How about your grandfather that you would listen to music for? Because you said that he kind of inspired you.
So yeah, my great-grandparents, like I said, they died when I was younger. My great-grandfather died at the ripe old age of 98.
Jesus.
And his wife died, I believe, the same year, a few months prior to that. And she was 97. They were both older. But yeah, I would dedicate it to them. Dolores and Dolores.
Dude, it's so insane how all these cultures are so, it's like Mexican culture and fucking Italian culture are so goddamn similar.
So my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, both of their names were Dolores. My great-grandmother was Maria Dolores.
Yeah. So what movie or thing would you like to dive into next? Would you do music, movies? Do we try to do a kid-friendly episode with your daughters and put 2 more microphones out and try to see if they would stay structured enough to do a podcast and give them a shot?
Do we think that we could keep you to get it to be a PG-13?
Yeah, I think I can. When I'm around them, I don't really curse.
No, I think that's fair, but there are still some times where I got to give you a look and be like, Anthony, I got to do an Anthony. The kids are here. And you're like,
they
have ears. There's adults around.
Yeah, I've hung out with the father and their family, and they've said way worse than
2 wrongs don't make it right.
I understand, but I'm saying I'm not groundbreaking them.
No, I know. I just
Yeah,
I'm funny. Like I said, there's reasons I don't talk to people. I'm funny. I feel.
So maybe
funny about
we
things.
can invite the girls for an episode. But what would you like to dive into next? If the people watching, what would be the next thing that you would possibly join me
Are
for?
we going? Are we going? Like, are we? This is just
Pop culture.
This is not horror.
Not horror.
related.
This is not cool in high school. This is anything pop culture. Books, movies, television, music, art.
Actually, there is a album that I recently just downloaded, and I would like to listen to it. It's an artist called Somber.
Okay.
SOM.
You don't want to do Life is Showgirl?
SOMBR. Drop the E in Somber. But his music gives me heavy 70s vibes. But I've heard a few songs on the radio and didn't realize it was the same guy singing them. And then heard a third song and went to download it. And I'm like, all right, it's the same guy. Where I want to deep dive into him. I think that he would be, I think his sound, it's not something that you've never heard before, but it's so like from another time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Send me
would be
that,
really
and I
cool.
will start doing my research and get everything set up. That'll be our next
I
one.
think that would be a cool one.
Plug and promote your stuff. Where can people find and support you?
You can find me on the internet. No. You can find me at on Instagram at WitchCraftsByLilly, on Facebook at WitchCraftsByLilly, on TikTok at WitchCraftsByLilly13. I just went back on Threads as of 2 days ago. That Craft Witch Lily. All of the plugs there. But yeah, I'm doing a lot. I have a couple of craft fairs coming up, so you can find me at your local vending stations, vending areas around the area. I want to do more stuff as far as dealing with people in the occult.
Okay.
Not necessarily creepy, but I think that's kind of more where I want to dabble my toes into. I think like my business name is WitchCraftsByLilly. That's something I'm really inspired by. And although fashion is mainly what I work on and what I like creating, I still like it to all have that kind of witchy vibe. So I want to do more collaborations.
Can I make a
with people
request
of that
for a
situation.
project? You have a year to do it.
For Halloween next year?
No. I would like a vest, another vest done, but I want a Day of the Dead vest.
No.
No?
It wouldn't be a vest then. If we're going to do Day of the Dead traditionally,
I want like a vest that I could wear out for like if I do ring announcing.
But I would do it a traditional jacket. I wouldn't do a vest.
Okay, whatever you want. I want to do. I want to paint my face next year, and
I think I was telling you. I know this is neither here nor there. We're talking about traditions, though.
You want to embrace more of your culture.
Yeah, I think another part that really like hit me was them eating tamales.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, tamales was like that. My grandma used to make them. We would spend all of like Christmas, make like the week before Christmas, just making a obscenely amount.
Are tamales hot?
You can make them spicy, but you don't have to.
I just think tamales, and
it's corn maze.
Okay.
So it's made into like a dough almost, and you fill it with stuff. So you could get pork or beef, and then also a lot of people put beans in with them too. But then you could get spicy meat.
That's more for Christmas.
Meat. It's like it could be whenever, but that was just when my grandma made them because that's when like all of the family would get together.
I want to help you embrace more of your culture and do more things. So I'm for it. I'll become the white boy Mexican.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I was thinking A-Team's Wings and Things. They make amazing food. And every time we see them, I got to get some cornbread because Eddie makes some banging cornbread.
I don't like cornbread, but I like his cornbread. I don't like greens, and I like his greens.
Oh, I love their greens with the... Ooh. But let me go back to the cornbread for a second. The first time I tasted Eddie's cornbread, I cried. He didn't make it the same way he makes it now. He makes it almost more of like a pudding now. But the first time I had his cornbread, I literally had a tear in my eye because it reminded me of my grandma making freaking, what is it, Jiffy Quick cornbread, whatever it was.
I owe him a podcast. He has a crazy story.
I really want to make, my grandma would make this cornbread with jalapenos in it, and then she would make this whole soup that went on the side of it. And when we were eating that cornbread the other night, I was thinking, dang, I really want to make that chili like my grandma used to make. So we're going to have to embrace full-on Mexican culture.
If these camera setups that we've been doing the past 2 days work out, and I'm liking the way that this is doing, the editing goes really smooth, I definitely want to bring this to Eddie and listen to his story because I think he has a really interesting story and he really wants to tell it too.
I'm not sure where they were headed today, but I saw them on the road and I was like waving and your mom's like, who's that? I was like, well, I only know one truck like that carries a black food truck behind them. So don't worry who it was. I'll say hi.
They're amazing. Check them out. 18 Wings and Things. They're from Bonnie City. They go all over the place. Some of the best food you'll have, best soul food. And they're amazing people.
Oh my gosh. So it was just like spooky season and and Pottsville was having the big pumpkin pour off.
I did not try the pumpkin wings.
I did. It was amazing. I had one of Andre's the other night. He let me try one.
He didn't have a pumpkin one.
Yeah, he went and got a little bit of sauce, so I was able to try it.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Oh, it was good. Oh, it was good. But yeah, they made a pumpkin sauce for their wings.
It's funny. She made the post about the chicken parm, and I was like, oh man, I seen her post about her making chicken parm. And he goes, excuse you? And I go,
oh yeah.
And I was like, no, the chicken parm she made.
She said a thing about making
and
the
chicken
chicken parm.
He's like, who made
that? What?
He's like, I'm the fucking cook of this house.
Yeah.
They're amazing. I love them to death.
Love them both.
That's going to wrap it up for Not Cool in High School. Not horror. Not Cool in High School. ABJ is coming a long way. It's closing in on 2025, and I'm watching kids' movies. I'm almost crying at Coca. It's amazing. Remember Me was a banger song. And I might even add it to my Spotify playlist.
I'm going to go make him watch this in Espanol.
Not tonight. I'm not going to do it tonight, but I'm interested in watching it.
The songs are even better in Espanol.
They probably are. Yeah, the entire vibe of the movie is probably better. Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next time. We're out of here.